One of the things that really strikes me about the way that the Bible talks about the natural world is the authors seem to have a huge awareness of the diversity of life and the way that different creatures inhabited different spaces, we'd say in today's language, different ecosystems and habitats, the way that they worked together or not. The cycle of predation and prey is very much there in the biblical accounts. And there's a very realistic view of the natural world. It's not all a glossy, kind of fluffy bunny sort of approach to nature. It's a very realistic one. And that means that there is predation, there is death in the natural world. And that, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, is seen as something perfectly natural, perfectly part of the order of things. The problem comes when a lion or some other natural predator attacks their flocks, and then they want to defend them. So David, as a boy, was out defending his sheep and so on. I think the question of why suffering is a little bit more aimed at human suffering, and the question of moral evil is much more of interest to the biblical authors. Probably the book that most people turn to when they're thinking about suffering in the world is the book of Job, and the story of Job's apparent unjust suffering and the argument that he has with God and then his well-meaning friends have with him over why is he suffering. And that book doesn't really address the question of what you might call suffering in nature, nature read in tooth and claw explicitly. But what it does have at the end is several chapters of a speech by God out of the whirlwind, where he draws our attention to the natural world by describing in quite a lot of detail various species and the way that they live and their natural life cycles. It's fascinating to read because it's a real blend in those chapters 38 to 41 of blend of biology and cosmology with theology. And what comes across really, really strongly from it is that actually the world, the natural world, the world of nature carries on as it does, as it has been ordained by God in wisdom. Chapter 39 reminds us. And Job is unable to comprehend that world. He's unable to fully enter into it because he's human and these are wild species. And there's a certain distance between him and them. And it's reminding Job, and perhaps all of us, if we suffer, that actually the workings of God are unfathomable. We don't have answers to them all.